Hey up everybody, welcome back to the I'll Do Cycling YouTube channel, where today I'm going to be doing a little preview for the Classica Brugge de Panne. This is looking like it's going to be a fairly untechnical and, not particularly in-depth analysis, because at the end of the day I think this is just going to be a sprinter's race. Yes, crosswinds do play a part, but based upon predicted forecasts for this race, it's really not going to be like that windy, so I think it's going to be a pretty straightforward sprint. So it's going to certainly lead to, I think, quite a few similar styles of teams, likely including Jasper Philipsen. I think that pretty much you have to pick Philipsen. If you picked him for the classic squad game for San Remo, then you're going to be absolutely laughing, because you'll have basically saved the transfer and got the winner for San Remo. But Philipsen, him and Merlier, I think you honestly just kind of have to pick both of them. They are probably the two fastest sprinters in the world right now, and so therefore I think that both of them really have to go on to your teams. And like I said, that is going to lead to very similar teams, but it's going to be in these third and fourth position, well, for the other positions, where you're going to really make up these little differences. Groenewegen and Jakobsen at 22 credits. I think both of them have reasons for picking them. Jakobsen was good in that Nordic course the other day where Merlier won. Jakobsen was second and Philipsen was third. So that's clearly a good sign for Jakobsen. He's got a very good lead out here. You could say pretty much the same for Groenewegen, to be honest with you. I think that it's really just depends on your personal preference. And you know what? I don't know. I'm slightly favouring Jakobsen. I don't know why, but I just am. I think he's just looked maybe a little bit better this year. I don't know. Literally, there's no real reasoning. You could pick both of them. They're both good. 20 credit riders. Best one is Philipsen, I believe, based upon how he's been looking recently, or just this year in general. Demar's just not been great. And Mayus, there's Sam Welsford here. So I just don't believe that confidently that he's going to be the sprinter. I think it might be Sam Welsford instead. So therefore, Philipsen makes the most sense as your 20 credit rider. 18 credit riders, the aforementioned Sam Welsford is in this category. I think that he makes the most sense out of all these ones. I think he's likely the fastest, and given that the weather's going to be fine on this kind of very spring March day, so I think that Welsford's probably the best. Ackerman's likely second best. Then you've got Milano. And then Turgis and Degenkolb, neither which I think are particularly great for this race. So those three are the best ones. I think that Welsford slightly edges it for me, just as the best one based upon lead-out quality. That's simply why I believe he's a little bit better, because he's got Danny Van Poppel leading him out. 16 credit riders. Again, we're getting into a good bit of a kind of mid-pack value here. So Bauhaus is good. Of course, he won that very complicated sprint at Tirreno Adriatico. I don't expect this sprint to be like that. I don't think that Bahrain Victorious' lead out is particularly great, but Bauhaus just has this very good positioning ability where he usually ends up on the correct wheel. So I think that Bauhaus has got a decent shot. I think that Decline is likely the safest of the 16 credit riders based upon his win at Paris-Nice. Tudor just seem to have things dialed this year. It's going really well for them. So therefore, I think that Decline is likely your best 16 credit rider. You could go with Edward Hearns, but they do have Simone Consonni, so it could be either one of those two. Hofstetter will be a lead out, Lamperty will be a lead out man, Danny Van Poppel is going to be a lead out man as well. Although the lead out men can certainly finish inside the top 10 and get assist points if you get the right one, but it's just a little bit too risky for me. I'd say that Decline is the best. 14 credit riders, obviously, Consonni, as I just said, he's here. He's looked very good recently, actually. Especially since he's had a lot of freedom to get his own results, and I think that's really good. Big fan of Consonni. I think that he's quite an underrated rider, so I think a top 10, maybe a top 5 is possible here for him. Gaviria, Cantor, both of them should be sprinting, I think, for their respective teams. Although Astana do also have Gleb Saditsa here, so there is a little bit of a fly in the ointment there for Astana in trying to pick the correct one there. Gaviria is a pretty safe top 10 candidate because he launches with about 4,000 metres to go, and so therefore he usually finishes alright. I would say Morgado, but I believe they've got Milano here, so that doesn't really make sense. Maclay, if Demar's not on a good day, maybe you could go with Maclay. Piffy makes the most sense though, as the absolute sprint of the group armour. So Piffy's the best 14 credit rider, the other ones are really just lead out men. 12 credit riders, Milan Menton being the sprinter for Lotto Destiny is the best one. Mazzato possibly might be sprinter for Arkea, but like I said, they've got McClay and Arnaud Demar here, so it could be either one of those two as well. Matteo Moschetti, 10 credit rider, that's a good one to be picking out as well. 8 credit riders. Cofidis have a multitude of sprinters here, and I'm not sure who they're sprinting for, but I'll point them all out anyway. Piet Aligat and Iniolowski. Iniolowski finishing a 4, of course, I want to say it was a top 5 in one of the UAE Tour sprints. Might have been like stage 6 or something like that. So Iniolowski, a good one for Cofidis. And Alvaro Hodge, possibly, if you think that Milano has something goes wrong with him. Tobias Lund Andersen, again, very similar. If something goes wrong with Jakobsen, I bet he will probably be their sprinter. Ziegler was pretty fast the other day at Nordicos, but like I said, they've got Arvid Decline here, so probably not. Chimolai was 3rd place in that last stage of Tirreno, so if you think that Gaviria is just, not the guy, you could go Chimolai as a safe 6 credit rider for sure. I think that makes a lot of sense. Fleta, I think, is one of the better 6 credit riders, considering that he was sprinting again to top 10 positions in the UAE Tour, but Cofidis have so many sprinters here, I don't know who they're going to be going for. But Fletan is certainly worthwhile gambling on, because I think of the 6 credit sprinters available, he's probably one of the best ones. Jeanière was top 10, like 6th or 7th place at Kuurne-Brussel-Kuurne in that group behind who was sprinting, so I think he will likely be the sprinter for Total Energy, so that's a really good value pick there at 6 credits. You've got a lot of riders here who you might pick for assist points. You could go Michels, again, as the lead-up man for Gerber Tayson. Maybe he might finish quite high up. You could go Nopper. He's had decent sprints in the past too. You could go... No, Reisberg's not the right one. I'm thinking of somebody else altogether. Sajnok may sprint, but they've got Moschetti here, who likely makes better sense. Jason Tesson, maybe they'll sprint for him over Jeanière, but I would slightly favour Jeanière, just because I think he's just got a bit more oomph, to be honest with you. That's my only reasoning behind that. And then you really get into the 4 credit riders, where you're really going just for assist points. I've looked through a lot of these riders, and none of them are particularly great sprinters, so I'm looking at the Soudal Quickstep boys if you want to get the assist points on Merlier. I think they make the most sense. You could go Mychuk if you think that Welsford's going to get a pretty, a decent result here as well. Perisco, actually, is a good sprinter for Bingot. He might get a top 15, top 20. So that's actually a fairly decent shout to be going with, rather than banking on assist points. If you're feeling a little bit risky, you could go for him. Riley Pickrell is a sprinter for Israel. Remember him finishing 3rd place in a sprint at Tour de la Provence behind Pedersen and Zingler. But that was a bit of a harder man's sprint. I just don't see why they wouldn't go with Ackerman in this scenario. Cameron Scott for Phil Bauhaus. Van Heluwe for, again, another one for Soudal Quickstep, the assist points. And then you got Matt Walls, if you think that he's sprinting, but I don't think he will be. I think they'll go for Piffy, to be honest with you. So I'd say likely go with assist points. I think they're the safest. Or if you're feeling a little bit brave, then go with Perisco. I just think that banking on the breakaway is far too risky to be going with. So this is the team which I've got at the moment, with Philipsen, Merlier, Arvid Decline, Jakobsen, and then 2 6 credit sprinters. I think that it's going to be a pretty popular style of team. Of course, you can swap out Decline and Jakobsen for other people if you think that they're slightly better value, or maybe you could go with a 14 credit rider over Arvid Decline. However, then the problem comes in that what do you gain from doing that? You're wanting to try and increase one of these 6 credit riders. However, the only good sprinting quality really seems to come in maybe at Milan Menton, but more than likely at the 14 credit bracket with Piffy and or Consoni. So therefore you really needed to gain like 8 credits, and therefore I don't think that you can save those credits by cheaping out on like your 3rd and 4th places to try and get a 5th sprinter in there. So I think it's just better to go 4 big sprinters and then 2 kind of little sprinters. It feels like you're playing Countdown. 4 big ones and 2 little ones. So that's the team which I'm going with. Like I said, you could swap people in. You could go with Groenewegen, But I do think that Philipsen and Merlier are just the safe ones to be going with, to be honest with you. Maybe you could, if you want, you could go with 2 guys in the 4 credit bracket based solely on, you know, just trying to pick up assist points, or going with Perisco. And then you could put those onto Arvid Decline to get a 20 credit guy like Gerber Tayson instead, if you really wanted to do something a bit different. That's something which you could do, just to give you an alternative to what a lot of people I expect to be going with. But let me know what you're thinking in the comment section down below. I expect we're all going to have quite similar styles of teams, but, you know, maybe some people out there have got some different opinions which might ultimately be the winning formula. So let's hear what you have to say in the comment section down below, and all that is left to say is to stay safe out there, and I'll see you in the next video. Salut!